I'm sitting in a police station at 2 a.m. and my daughter won't look at me. There's blood under her fingernails that isn't hers. And the only thing I can think is, when did I stop knowing her? The fluorescent lights above us hum, a sound so faint it shouldn't feel threatening, yet every vibration tugs something tight inside my chest. Emma stares at the tabletop, jaw clenched, knuckles stiff. 16 years of tenderness. Sunday mornings, Halloween costumes, laughter in the car, reduced to this unbearable distance between us. They'll call me in soon. They'll ask me to explain who my daughter is, what she's capable of, what happened tonight. And I don't know. God help me. I don't know anymore. If you've got a child, a sibling, or even just someone you love, this could be you one day. Don't wait to learn the hard way. Subscribe now so you don't miss stories that warn you before it's too late. 3 months earlier. People think knowing your child is a guarantee, earned through midnight feedings, birthday parties, doctor visits, driving lessons. But knowing someone is a living thing. It grows, shifts, mutates, and if you're not paying attention every second, it slips from your hands without warning. Back then, I believed Emma and I were unshakable. Sunday mornings were ours. Pancakes, drowning in syrup, 2 mugs of coffee, mine hot, hers iced, while we watched trash TV and judged the contestants like we were paid critics. She'd sit cross-legged on the couch, wearing my oversized sweatshirt, hair messy, eyes bright. "Mom, you're literally my best friend," she'd say, stealing bites from my plate. I knew how cheesy it sounded. Mothers aren't supposed to take those words as gospel. But I did. I held them like a promise she'd never break. Afternoons were even better. She'd sprawl across my bed talking about Jake, the boy with dimples and terrible fashion sense. I listened to everything. The way he laughed, the way he smelled like laundry detergent, the way he looked at her when he thought no one noticed. She trusted me with her whole heart. Or, I thought she did. Driving lessons were our comedy routine. She'd jerk the wheel too hard and panic. "Mom, we're literally going to die." "We're in a parking lot," I'd say, laughing. "The only thing you're killing is that poor traffic cone." She laughed with me. She laughed easily back then. We had inside jokes, points across the dinner table that meant, "Did you see that?" And "Don't you dare laugh." A rhythm only we understood. I thought those little things were unbreakable threads, but threads snap quietly. The first crack was so tiny, I almost dismissed it entirely. October 15th, a normal Tuesday. I got home from school before her, perks of being a teacher, and set out leftover lasagna because Tuesday nights were too tired to cook nights. I even put on the reality show we loved, ready for her to burst in, drop her backpack, steal all the garlic bread, and launch into whatever drama unfolded in the school hallways. But when the door opened, she didn't say a word. Emma walked straight past me. No kiss on the cheek, no hey, no rummaging in the fridge, just a quiet, disinterested hey tossed behind her, like something she dropped and couldn't be bothered to pick up. Then her bedroom door clicked shut. Not slammed, not locked, just shut, soft, controlled, polite. That made it worse. I waited 5 minutes, 10, 15. I told myself she probably had a ton of homework. I told myself she might have had a long day. I told myself not to hover. Parent books warn you about helicoptering. They tell you to give teenagers space. But the house felt wrong, too quiet, too still. Like something had been pulled out of it. I knocked on her door. "Em, dinner's on the counter." A pause, a breath, something shifting on the other side. "Homework," she said. That was it. One word, flat and cold as a metal surface. "Okay," I whispered, even though she couldn't hear me. Inside, something uneasy rippled, but I smothered it with rational explanations. "She's tired. She's growing. She's moody. Normal teen stuff. Nothing to panic over. The lies we tell ourselves aren't always big. Sometimes they're small enough to swallow." A week passed, and the silence grew like mold. Our conversation shrank to yes, no, okay. She started wearing long sleeves despite the warm weather. She slept later, woke earlier, skipped breakfast. When I asked about Jake, she shrugged. When I teased her about the reality show, she said she'd outgrown it. outgrown us, it felt like. One night I knocked on her door again. "Want to watch something?" "I'm busy." "With what?" "Just stuff, Mom." Stuff. A word that means leave me alone in every teenage language. I stepped away, forcing myself to pretend it was normal, that every mother went through this, that I wasn't losing her. But the air in our house changed. It became thick, heavy, saturated with unspoken things. Silence has a way of becoming a presence, one that sits with you at dinner, watches you fold laundry, follows you into bed at night. Nobody warns you about that part. They tell you about tantrums, rebellion, slammed doors. They never mention the quiet. Silence is a weapon. It seeps into the walls, into your routines, into your heartbeat. It doesn't explode. It erodes. And I didn't know it yet, but something had already begun pulling Emma into a world I wouldn't recognize until it was too late. A world that would land us in that police station 3 months later. A world where she'd sit across from me, refusing to lift her eyes, blood under her fingernails that didn't belong to her. And I'd whisper the same question over and over, like a prayer with no answer. When did I stop knowing my own daughter? The detective asks me when I first noticed something was wrong. I open my mouth, then close it again. How do I explain that I noticed everything and nothing at all 3 months earlier? The unraveling didn't start with a scream or a slammed door. It started with absences. Tiny, ordinary things disappearing one by one, like someone quietly erasing my daughter in pencil. Week 1, Sunday morning. Pancakes on the stove, coffee in my hand, our trashy reality show paused on the opening credits. I call up the stairs out of habit. Pancakes! For 16 years, that's all it ever took. "Not hungry," she shouts back. I wait, expecting the follow-up. "Kidding. Be right there." The familiar thud of her feet on the stairs. Nothing. Just the low hum of the refrigerator and the hiss of the pan. The pancakes burn on one side before I realize I'm still standing there, spatula in the air, frozen. She doesn't come down. I wrap the leftovers and tell myself she's tired. PMS, homework, growing up, the usual list, week 2. I go to knock on her door to tell her dinner's ready. My hand closes around the knob. It doesn't turn. For a second, I think it's stuck. I twist harder. It doesn't budge. A cold prickle crawls up my arms. I lean in and see it properly. A new lock, shiny against the old paint. Not there last week. Definitely not there last month. When did she install that? I knock, knuckles softer than I mean them to be. "Emma?" A beat, then her voice, distant. "What?" "Dinner." I'm not hungry. I already ate at Zoe's. Her tone is flat, neutral. It gives me nothing. I stare at the lock. I'm an English teacher. I live and breathe symbolism. A locked door is a locked heart, a barrier, a shut book. I could write a whole lesson plan about it, but I'm also her mother, standing in the hallway trying not to panic over hardware. She's a teenager, I tell myself. Teenagers need privacy. This is normal. This is healthy. I choose that version. I swallow the rest. Week 3. The body goes first. The language comes later. She's heading to bed, hair damp, phone in hand. I reach out, same way I have since she was little. "Good night, baby," I say, arms opening. She goes rigid. It's a tiny change, a stiffness in her shoulders, the way her spine straightens, the slightest pull back before she allows the hug. Anyone else would miss it. I don't. My chest tightens. I know that flinch. I wore it myself once, at 16, after I slam a door on the memory before it finishes forming. "You okay?" I ask, trying to keep my voice light. "Yeah, just tired." She slips out of my arms, moves past me, disappears into her room. The door shuts with a soft click. Not a slam, not a fight, just a subtle shift. That's the worst part. It's all so easy to dismiss, to file under mood and hormones and busy. But the feel of that flinch stays under my skin, prickling long after the hallway is empty. Week 4. The phone becomes the new lock. Emma's always been casual with it. leaving it on the counter, face up on the couch. Notifications popping up. Memes, TikToks, Zoe's endless string of emojis. Now it has a password. Not just that. She keeps it on her at all times. In her pocket, in her hand, under her pillow when she sleeps. If it's not touching her, it's within reach. The first time I notice the difference, it's 3 a.m. I wake to a sound, soft, broken. I follow it down the hall, heart pounding in that irrational nighttime way. The bathroom door is cracked open just enough for a sliver of light to spill onto the floor. I push it wider. She's sitting on the tiles, back against the tub, knees pulled to her chest. Her phone screen glows in her lap, blue light cutting harsh angles into her face. Tears drip off her chin, darkening the fabric of her pajama pants. "Emma," I whisper, dropping to my knees. "Baby, talk to me." She doesn't look up. "You wouldn't understand." The words hit harder than I expect. "Wouldn't understand? I was 16 once. I've been hurt. I've been scared. Try me." Slowly, she lifts her head and meets my eyes. They're empty. Not dramatic, not theatrical, just hollow, like someone turned the lights off inside. "That's exactly why you wouldn't understand, Mom," she says quietly. "You survived." If you've ever felt like someone you love is hurting but won't talk, don't just scroll past this. Hit subscribe so these stories remind you to check in before your own Emma goes silent. The room tilts just slightly. Before I can respond, she grabs her phone, pushes past me, and disappears back into her room. The lock clicks. I'm left alone on the bathroom floor, knees throbbing, the cold tile pressing into my palms. After that night, the changes stop being contained to our house. The school starts calling. First, it's a gentle email. "Just a heads up, Emma seems a little distracted in class lately." Then it's midterm grades, A's bleeding into C's, assignments missing, teachers flagging concerning lack of engagement in the comments. Emma quits theater club. Theater, where she lived, breathed, glowed, the stage where she'd once stood under hot lights, eyes blazing, voice steady, owning every line. She just walks away. "I'm over it," she says when I ask. "It's stupid." Zoe, her best friend since second grade, stops coming over. No more backpacks dropped at the door, no more laughter spilling from her room, no more shared headphones, whispered gossip, piles of nail polish on the floor. I call Zoe's mom. "Oh, the girls had a falling out," she says, too breezy. "You know how teen girls are." But I don't. Not this time. Because Emma won't tell me a thing. At home, the silence sharpens. Every closed door, every quiet meal, every fine becomes another piece of evidence piling up in my head. The moral line shows up in the most ordinary way. Emma hops into the shower one evening, music playing faintly from her Bluetooth speaker. Her phone buzzes on her nightstand. Once, twice, 3 times. The screen lights up with each vibration. I walk past her door, meaning to go downstairs. I stop. Her phone is right there. Buzz, buzz. I step inside her room. The air smells like her perfume, coconut and something floral. The bed is unmade. A hoodie lies crumpled on the floor. Her phone sits in the middle of it all, screen dark now, innocent. My hand hovers over it. Invasion of privacy versus parental duty. Trust versus fear. Respecting boundaries versus ignoring danger. What if she's in trouble? What if someone is hurting her? What if she just hates me, and this makes it worse? When does respecting her privacy turn into, I looked away when she needed me? The phone buzzes again, right under my fingertips. I don't pick it up. I pull my hand back, heart pounding, and step out of her room. I tell myself I did the right thing, the good thing, the healthy thing. Later I'll understand that this was the night I chose not to know. The confrontation comes on a Tuesday. She's heading into her room, phone in hand, shoulders tense. I move before I can talk myself out of it and block the doorway, hand on the frame. "We're talking," I say. "Now." She sighs, rolling her eyes. "About what?" "About whatever is turning you into someone I don't recognize." Her face twists. Pain, anger, something darker flickering through. Maybe you never knew me at all, she says. Maybe you just knew the version of me that made you feel like a good mom. The words land with surgical precision, a direct hit. I actually sway. That's not fair, I manage. Fair? Her voice cracks, then hardens. You want to talk about fair? Just leave me alone. She tries to push past me. For a moment, I hold my ground. Then I step aside. Her door closes. I stand alone in the hallway, surrounded by all the things I should have done and all the things I've already done wrong. They tell you parenting is about instincts, about knowing your child, about doing your best. They don't tell you that sometimes your best is just a list of mistakes you only recognize when it's too late to fix them. They're showing me evidence bags now, a torn hoodie, a phone with a cracked screen, and I keep thinking, I taught her to read. How did I not teach her to tell me when the world was crushing her? Late November. Something breaks in me. Not a clean break, a splintering, a gradual shattering that sends me into a version of motherhood I used to judge other women for. Detective mode. That's what I call it, as if giving it a name makes it less desperate. I go through Emma's laundry first, not because I know what I'm looking for, just something. The scent of alcohol, a shirt stretched, torn, a stain that shouldn't be there. I lift each piece to my face like an animal sniffing for danger. Nothing. But the nothing feels like something. I start writing down her comings and goings, the time she leaves for school, the time she comes home. Later, always later. The way she jumps when she hears my voice, like guilt became a reflex. She blocked me on Instagram 2 months ago. I didn't realize until now. I make a fake account. Her page loads slowly, like it knows it shouldn't let me in. The photos are dark, shadows, silhouettes, mirrors with no reflection of her face. The captions are worse. Some secrets keep you safe. Silence isn't weakness. Girls who open their mouths get punished. Each one slices me open in a new place. There's a voice inside me whispering that I'm crossing lines, that I'm becoming the mother who snoops, invades, panics, the one I promised I'd never turn into. But what's the alternative? Wait for a call from a hospital, or worse, a morgue? I pick up the phone and dial David. When he answers, his voice is casual. Too casual. Hey, Sarah, everything okay? No, I say. Something's wrong with Emma. He exhales sharply. She's a teenager. They're all dramatic. This is different. You're hovering. You always hover. The words sting. They always have. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe my love wraps too tight, suffocates without meaning to. But then he says something that freezes the air between us. She canceled our weekend again, 3rd time in a row. Didn't even give a reason. We look at each other through the grainy FaceTime connection, and for the first time in years, we're united. Not as exes, but as parents who suddenly feel the same cold dread slide down their spines. Sarah, he whispers, what's happening to our kid? I shake my head because I don't know, and because knowing would be worse. Flashback. 16 years old, a classroom after hours. Mr. Harrison, my English teacher, leaning over my desk telling me I'm gifted, brilliant, special, his hand drifting down my arm in a way I didn't want but didn't know how to stop. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I survived it quietly. And when my mother asked why I was withdrawn, why I flinched, why my grades slipped, I said, you wouldn't understand. Because she wouldn't have. She would have blamed me. The skirt, staying after class, being too friendly. The world trains girls to blame themselves before anyone can do it for them. I survived quietly. Now I can't stop wondering, is Emma protecting me the same way I protected my mother? Is she carrying hell on her shoulders because she thinks I can't bear the truth? The discovery happens on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm changing her sheets. The one maternal task she still allows, maybe because she doesn't think it matters. The mattress lifts, and something slides out and lands on the floor with a soft thud. A journal. Black cover, worn edges, spiral bent. My heart slams once, hard enough to hurt. This is her private property, I whisper. This might save her life, another part of me counters. If I read it, she'll never trust me again. If I don't read it, there might not be a again. My hands shake as I open it. The handwriting is hers, round, loopy, still a little childish, each letter a knife. He said if I tell anyone Zoe's photos get posted, everyone will know what we did at that party. My pulse spikes. I can still feel his hands. I scrub and scrub, but I can still feel them. My stomach lurches. Mom would be so disappointed. She thinks I'm smarter than this. My eyes blur. If I just stay quiet, it'll be over. He graduates in May. Just 6 more months. Then one final entry. One word repeated over and over until the ink digs deep into the page. He. He who? He who? My world tilts. I'm not thinking when I burst into her room. She's in class. I left work early. I don't care. I tear through everything. Drawers, backpacks, old shoeboxes stuffed with notes and gum wrappers and hair ties. I'm searching like a woman possessed, driven by an animal instinct older than language. In an old birthday card tucked behind a photo strip, I find Zoe's number. I call. She answers on the 3rd ring. Hello? Zoe? I breathe. It's Mrs. Fletcher. Please, I know you're protecting Emma, but I can't protect her if I don't know what from. There's a long silence, then a shuddering inhale. Mrs. Fletcher, we were at a party, she whispers. Jackson Harris. He's a senior, captain of the lacrosse team. He and Emma. But she said no. I swear she said no. I was there. My knees go weak. He took pictures, Zoe continues, voice breaking, of both of us passed out. He said if Emma tells anyone, he'll say she wanted it, that we both did. He keeps cornering her at school, touching her. She's terrified. The room blurs. I grip the edge of Emma's desk to stay upright. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. If this part made your stomach drop, good. It means you know this isn't rare. Predators get protected every day. Subscribe if you want more stories that expose what really happens behind good reputations and promising boys. My English teacher, my daughter's classmate, different decade, same script, same violation, same forced silence, same shame. The past and present crash together so violently it steals my breath. And for the first time, I understand this isn't Emma slipping away. This is Emma drowning, quietly, alone, exactly the way I once drowned. But she has me, and God help the boy who thought she didn't. The detective leans forward, elbows on the metal table, eyes fixed on my face like he's waiting for a crack. Mrs. Fletcher, do you know where your daughter was tonight between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m.? The room hums. The clock on the wall ticks too loudly. My tongue feels too big for my mouth. I look at Emma. Her jaw is set. Her hands are folded neatly on the table. She's not crying. She's not begging. She's not even angry. She looks relieved, like something heavy finally slid off her shoulders and landed squarely on mine. She was with me, I hear myself say. The lie leaves my mouth as smoothly as breath. Late November, earlier that same evening, I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, journal still on the coffee table, open to the page that changed everything. The house feels like a held breath. Every sound, the heater kicking on, a car passing outside, the creak of the stairs settling makes me jump. I've rehearsed what I'll say. I'm here for you. We'll report him. You did nothing wrong. I practice the lines in my head like I'm the one auditioning for a part. Keys jingle at the front door. The lock turns. The door opens. Emma steps inside, backpack slung over one shoulder, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands. Her hair is pulled into a messy knot. There are shadows under her eyes. I stand too quickly. Hey, Em, I say, voice too bright. She freezes. Her gaze drops to the coffee table, to the journal, to the way it's lying open, pages splayed. Her face drains of color. You read it, she says. My heart drops. Emma, her voice rips through the room. You read my journal? It's not just anger. It's betrayal. Raw, unfiltered. She looks at me like I've joined the list of people who hurt her. I want to say I'm sorry. I also want to shake her, scream that I had no choice. Both urges collide in my throat, canceling each other out. "You had no right," she screams. "I had every right," I snap, the words out before I can soften them. "You're being assaulted and you're protecting your abuser. Don't call him that." The force of it hits like a slap. Her chest is heaving, eyes blazing, hands shaking. "Why?" I ask, taking a step toward her. "Because then it's real? Because then you have to admit what happened? Because if it's abuse," she chokes out, "then I'm a victim and I can't be a victim, Mom. I can't." The room goes silent. Her voice echoes in the air between us, bouncing off the walls, settling into my bones. She looks like she's coming apart right there in the doorway. The kind of breaking that doesn't make a sound, just rearranges a person permanently. "If I'm a victim," she whispers, knees buckling as she sinks to the floor, "then I'm weak. And if I'm weak, then he wins. So I just need to get through the year and then it'll be over. He graduates in May and then he'll leave." And I drop to my knees in front of her, the carpet burning through my jeans. "Baby," I say, reaching for her hands. This time she doesn't pull away. "Surviving isn't weakness. It's everything." She looks up at me, eyes wet, mascara smudged, just a girl who's too tired to hold herself together. "You don't get it," she whispers. I swallow. There's a door inside me I've kept locked for 26 years. A memory I have buried under work, marriage, divorce, motherhood, PTA meetings. The lock snaps. "When I was your age," I say slowly, "my English teacher assaulted me." Emma's breath catches. "I never told anyone," I continue. My voice sounds distant, like I'm listening to someone else confess. "Not your grandmother, not even your father. I carried it for 26 years like a stone in my chest." I can see it again, the after-school classroom, the smell of dry erase markers and cologne, the door clicking shut, his hand on my thigh, his breath in my ear. The moment I realized no adult was coming to save me. "And you know what it taught me?" I ask. Emma shakes her head. "That silence protects predators," I say. "Not victims." Tears spill down her cheeks, one by one, then all at once. "I thought—" Her voice breaks. "I thought you'd be disappointed, that you'd think I was stupid or reckless or dirty." My chest cracks open. "Emma," I say, "you are none of those things. Something was done to you that doesn't redefine who you are. It redefines who he is." She lets out a sound halfway between a sob and a laugh. "What do we do?" "We report him," I say. The decision solidifies as I speak it. We go to the school, to the police if we have to. We tell them everything. You did nothing wrong. Her shoulders tremble. "He'll post the photos." My jaw sets. Then we'll survive that too. Because I'd rather stand next to her while the world judges us than stand over her when it's too late to fix any of it. She nods, just once. It's not confidence. It's not certainty. It's trust. Fragile. Fractured. But still there. "Tomorrow," I say. "We'll go tomorrow. Together." She leans into me, just for a moment, resting her forehead on my shoulder. It's the first time in months she's let me hold even a piece of her weight. I wrap my arms around her and swear silently, I won't let him win. I won't let him walk away the way mine did. Later that night, she sleeps. I don't. I sit in the glow of my laptop, the house dark and quiet, Jackson Harris's life spread out in front of me like a promotional brochure. Photos of him grinning with his lacrosse team, mud on his jersey. His college acceptance post, full scholarship, hundreds of likes, comments from teachers and friends congratulating him. Future star. So proud of you, Jackson. Can't wait to visit you at State next year. The cursor hovers over his profile picture. This boy is going to get away with it. Even if we report him, it'll be his word against Emma's. 2 drunk girls, a popular senior boy, a he said, she said that adults will happily twist into, well, we can't ruin a young man's future over one mistake. The photos aren't proof of assault, my mind whispers. They're proof of what he'll say Emma wanted. He'll go to college, he'll play lacrosse, he'll do this to someone else unless... The word slithers in, soft and poisonous. Unless someone stops him first. I sit there, heart pounding, staring at his smiling face. My mind flashes back to Mr. Harrison, to the way he retired with a plaque and a party, to the young girls in his classroom after me, to the way nobody ever knew. The justice system is a maze. Predators know how to walk through blindfolded. Girls get lost in it. Boys like Jackson walk out the other side untouched. Unless someone changes the rules. My fingers close around my phone. I don't even remember dialing the number. Only the ring. 1, 2, 3. He answers. Hello? Jackson? My voice is steady, calm. That scares me more than anything. This is Emma's mom. There's a beat of silence, then a cocky little laugh. Hey, Mrs. Fletcher, is everything okay? We need to talk, I say. Meet me at Riverside Park, 10 p.m., come alone. He hesitates. Is Emma? 10 p.m., I repeat. You owe my daughter that much. Another pause. Then, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll be there. I hang up. The house is so quiet I can hear the blood rushing in my ears. Upstairs, Emma is sleeping, breathing in slow, even waves. She has no idea what I've just done. I grab my car keys. I stand in the foyer, fingers curled so tightly around the metal that the edges bite into my skin. I'm about to do something I can't undo, but maybe some things need to be undone. Maybe some boys need to be stopped before the system has a chance to fail another girl. I open the door. The night air hits my face, cold and sharp, and I step out into the dark. The police station at 2 a.m. smells like old coffee and disinfectant, a mix that clings to the back of my throat. I've been here for hours, though time moves strangely, stretching, folding, stuttering. Detective Morris sits across from me at the metal table, his expression carved from stone. Beside me, Emma sits perfectly still, hands folded in her lap, fingernails scrubbed clean except for the faint stain that no amount of soap could erase. The detective begins again, like a metronome resetting itself between interrogations. Let's go through this again, he says. You received a call that your daughter was found at Riverside Park at approximately 11:15 p.m. When we arrived, she was standing over Jackson Harris. He had sustained blunt force trauma to the head and face. A rock, we believe. He's in critical condition. His eyes flick toward Emma. Her gaze doesn't flicker. I steady my voice. My daughter was defending herself. The detective tilts his head, a gesture too practiced to be casual. From what? Jackson Harris was unconscious when we arrived. Your daughter was still hitting him. Still hitting. The phrase echoes like a slammed door. Beside me, Emma breathes in sharply. Then she speaks. Her first words all night. He tried to assault me, she says. Again. The air changes. Even Detective Morris shifts back a fraction, the professionalism bending under the weight of those words. At a public park? At night? He asks carefully. Why were you there to begin with? Emma's eyes move to me. Mine move to hers. We are two women sitting in a room full of fluorescent lights and lies, both true, both false, both impossible to untangle without destroying something sacred. The detective senses the shift, leans forward slightly. Ladies, he says, let's start with the truth. The word lands between us like a knife. The truth. My version of it. Earlier that night, Riverside Park smelled like damp leaves and cold. Street lamps buzzed overhead, flickering in that ominous way they always seem to in moments like these, like the universe was setting the scene for something awful. Jackson arrived right on time. Arrogant, confident, shoulders squared, a predator who didn't even bother to hide the fact. What do you want? He sneered when he saw me. There was no fear, not even surprise, just irritation, like I was a pothole he had to step around. I want you to leave my daughter alone, I said. He smirked the way boys like him do, boys who grow up praised for mediocrity until they mistake it for invincibility. Or what? You'll tell someone? He laughed, stepping closer. Tell who? Your daughter's been obsessed with me. Honestly, Mrs. Fletcher, it's pathetic. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. My heartbeat roared in my ears. She came on to me, he continued. She wanted it. Ask her friends, ask, I snapped. I don't remember the moment my hand closed around the rock. I don't remember lifting it. All I remember is the weight of it in my palm and the sound it made when it connected with something softer than stone. He fell. I swung again and again. The world blurred into the rhythmic thud of impact and my own breath tearing out of me. Then, headlights. Emma's car. She ran toward us, voice cracking the night open. "Mom, what did you do?" I dropped the rock. My fingers felt numb, foreign. I didn't mean... The words tripped over themselves. I just wanted to scare him. Emma stared at Jackson, bleeding into the dirt. A low groan slipped from his mouth. Her face hardened. Not in fear, not in horror, in decision. "Give me the rock," she said. "What?" "Give me the rock." Her voice was steel. "You have a career, a life. I'm already broken. Give me the rock and leave." "Emma, no." "Mom," she said, eyes blazing. "Go." And for the first time, I did what she said without question. The truth. Emma's version. The one she tells the police. "I catfished him," Emma says calmly. "Pretended to be a girl from his college. Asked him to meet me at the park. When he showed up, I confronted him." Detective Morris raises an eyebrow. "And then? He tried to grab me." Emma's voice doesn't shake. "I defended myself. I hit him. My mom wasn't there." Clean, simple, believable, if you want it to be. I stare at her profile, the line of her jaw, the steadiness in her voice. She delivers the lie, or truth, with the calm of someone who's lived inside fear long enough to master it. The detective. He looks between us, eyes narrowing. "So which is it?" Neither of us answers. "We have your mother's car on a traffic camera," he continues, heading toward the park at 9:47 p.m. I open my mouth. Emma beats me to it. "My mom came looking for me," she says quickly. "She knew I was upset. She arrived after it was over. She's trying to protect me by taking the blame. But I did this. I hit him. Multiple times." She looks directly at Detective Morris. "And I do it again." Something inside me breaks and reforms all at once. My daughter, fragile, terrified, wounded, is sitting here protecting me from the consequences of something she might not have even done. Or maybe she did. Maybe we both did. Maybe neither of us did alone. Maybe truth isn't a solid object. Maybe it's a shifting mass of memory and survival and instinct. Does it matter? Detective Morris exhales slowly. He closes his notebook. "We'll need to verify your statements," he says. "Both of you." He stands, leaving the room with a final glance over his shoulder that says, "One of you, or both of you, is lying." Emma leans back in her chair, eyes closed. I don't know if she's exhausted or relieved. Maybe both. 1 month later, Jackson Harris woke from his coma 2 weeks after the attack. He looked at his parents, confused, disoriented, asking questions he couldn't answer himself. He had no memory of the park, none of Emma, none of anything from that night. "Convenient," Detective Morris muttered. "Or trauma-induced," the neurologist said. "He's not pressing charges. His parents moved him quietly to a private school in another state. No media, no headlines, no consequences, just relocation. Like predators deserve fresh hunting grounds. Emma's seeing a real therapist now, not the school counselor with the bowl haircut and motivational posters. Someone trained, someone who listens, someone who doesn't flinch when Emma's voice drops to a whisper. We're in family therapy too. The distance between us hasn't vanished, but it's changed shape. It's no longer avoidance. It's no longer secrets leaking through the cracks. It's something like healing, or the beginning of it. If this story shook you, even a little, ask yourself why. If you don't want to be the parent who realizes everything too late, hit subscribe now. These stories might be the wake-up call you never knew you needed. And with that, we're back to this Sunday morning. Pancakes. The ritual we lost, the ritual she abandoned, the ritual I kept alive even when the batter felt like wet grief in my hands. Emma sits at the table, not smiling, not talking, but she's there. Being there is its own kind of victory. I flip a pancake, watch it bubble at the edges. "Mom?" she says quietly. "Yeah?" I turn. She's staring at her hands, fingers twisting in her sleeves. "I need to tell you what really happened that night." My hand freezes midair. "Emma." "All of it," she says. I turn off the stove, sit across from her, take her hand. "Okay," I whisper. "I'm listening." Her breath shakes, and the world holds its breath with her. They say the truth will set you free, but they don't tell you what truth does on its way out. They don't tell you truth can be messy, violent, ugly, that it can feel like drowning and breathing at the same time. They don't tell you truth can look like your daughter covered in blood, or like a boy in a hospital bed with his memory wiped clean, or like a rock lying somewhere in the leaves of Riverside Park, bearing fingerprints no one wants to identify. Was I right? Was I wrong? I don't know, but I know this. I would burn the world down for my child. I would lie for her, bleed for her, fight the darkness with fists if I had to, and I'd do it again. That's the truth they don't put in parenting books. Now, sitting here, watching her gather the courage to speak, I brace myself. Not for the worst, but for whatever her truth is, because the truth is coming, and I'm not sure either of us is ready. Now your turn. What do you think really happened at Riverside Park? Was it Emma? Sarah? Both of them? Drop your theory in the comments. Team Emma, Team Sarah, or Team they're protecting each other. And don't forget to subscribe so you're here for the next messy, complicated truth.